All right. So, welcome to the Master the Media Q&A for health professionals. I'm Amy Gorin, and I'm here with Katie Hadley and Simran Malhotra, and we're all going to share our stories about Master the Media, and for Simran and Katie, how Master the Media has helped them make a lot of money in brand partnerships. We're going to have a live Q&A after just a few minutes of presentation. So definitely you can start putting your questions into the chat. And I figured I'll just start talking about it now at the beginning. When you enroll in Master the Media by tonight, you're going to get 3 amazing bonuses. And I will share those with you for a second. But I'm actually going to turn my camera off while I talk because I've had let's just say special internet today with the snow situation. So I think we'll have a better chance of everything going seamlessly with the camera off for a little bit. So today in this Q&A, I'm going to share my story of becoming a media dietitian and earning hundreds of thousands of dollars in brand partnerships. Then Simran's going to share her story about working with brands as a physician. Katie's going to share her story about working with brands as a dietitian. And we're going to talk about what it looks like to work with brands as a physician, dietitian, or other healthcare practitioner. We'll go through an overview of the Master the Media program. You guys can ask any questions that you want about that. And that is the run of show. And I just want to tell you guys that we're actually running some really special bonuses that expire at midnight Pacific time tonight. So you can scan this QR code to join or click the URL in the chat. And I'm just going to walk you through those before we dive into everything. So there are 3 bonuses that you're going to get that we never offer any other times. And I honestly, you guys, these bonuses are worth their weight in gold. So if you sign up by midnight tonight, you're going to get a one-on-one 50,000 foundation planning session strategy call with Katie, who's here tonight, or Melissa, who's one of our amazing instructors. And we never offer one-on-one coaching. So this is a really great opportunity to get that. So that is yours when you enroll by midnight tonight. You're also going to get an extra 2 months in Master the Media. And that means you're going to get access to our coaching and brand partnership opportunities that we bring you through September, not just July, which is our normal, the normal amount of months that you get. And you're also going to get free enrollment into brand partnership school when you enroll by midnight tonight. And this is honestly, has so many resources that you get contact information for 3,400 brands, suggested rates for all of these deliverables and more. But I'm going to walk you guys through all of this. Now, I just want to give you a little bit of background about my background in Master the Media, and then we'll jump into questions after Simran and Katie share their stories. So now you guys know that I used to be the person working at magazines, contacting the healthcare professionals to be interviewed and also meeting with brands and deciding which brands get featured. And this was all in all, these partnerships that I have worked with over the years have allowed me to earn $2 million from brand partnerships. And I am so excited to help you guys achieve that too. Now, of course, these pictures here are of me working with brands, but I want you to picture yourself working with Panda Express, working with Justin's, working with Egg Life, Amy's Kitchen, Cognizant, these amazing companies. And this is actually the reality. This has happened for the hundreds of healthcare professionals who have gone through Master the Media. Just last year alone, our Master the Media students, they landed over 700 paid brand partnerships. And that equals millions and millions of dollars in additional income for them. So you guys are going to be able to do all of this too. And I know you guys have lives outside of Master the Media, just like I do. And I created this incredible life that I feel so fortunate to get to live because I learned the ins and outs of working with brands. And that's really landing those high paying brand partnerships. And that's why I created Master the Media. It's so easy. It's so simple. It's so doable. And I want you guys to be thinking of what pictures you want to share in a year or 8 months from now. of the amazing life that you get to live because of the flexibility that you have from brand partnerships. So here I am with my husband, Lawrence. I like this picture because we had just had our daughter, and this is Annabelle over here. She's almost 7 months now, and we just had her. It was our anniversary, and I didn't want to leave the house yet. So we hired a private chef to come over and cook us dinner. That was a luxury that we get from this additional income from brand partnerships. These are my cats, Link and Figaro. And I'm just going to say this week has been interesting. So far, I've had about $5,000 in unexpected medical expenses for Annabelle and both of my cats. And it's no big deal because I have this extra income from paid brand partnerships. So I want you guys to feel that I just want you to feel that comfort that comes with this additional income. So the fact is that being featured in media is what makes brands want to pay you to partner with them. And this is literally why Master the Media is called Master the Media, because this is the first step. So we're going to talk about this in a second. But I just want to paint the picture for you that getting featured in the media leads to you landing paid brand partnerships. With Master the Media, you can land $50,000 in brand partnerships in the next 6 months over and over again, so that by the year 2030, you will have earned $500,000 in brand partnerships. So I want you to think about that as we're talking tonight, that is literally your future. And I'm going to invite Simran to talk in just a minute. Simran's an amazing physician. She's triple board certified, and she landed all of these incredible features through what we helped her do in Master the Media. And she was featured in Time and Yahoo, MSN, Fortune, Everyday Health. And there's, when you're featured in media like this, that is we share those opportunities in our private Facebook community, and we directly connect you. We're like, who wants to be featured in Time? Okay. And so Simran was able to earn $34,000 from brand partnerships and media work because of these media features that she got. So I'm going to hand it over to her, and she can tell us all about how she was able to utilize what she learned in Master the Media to leave her job, stop working full time, and start living the life she really was dreaming about.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks for having me. So it's nice to be here. My name is Simran, and I am a triple board certified physician. I did my training initially in internal medicine, then I did my specialty training in hospice and palliative care, and then got to lifestyle medicine like 6-7 years ago. For me, my path has been very unconventional in the sense that I really got interested in lifestyle medicine because I became the patient. So right around the time where I started working as a palliative care physician, I also found out that I have the BRCA1 genetic mutation. So the last 10 years has been all about trying to figure out everything I could do to reduce my own risk of cancer. And that's kind of how I came across lifestyle medicine. And after COVID, in 2020, my husband's a critical care physician. Shortly after that, I had my risk-reducing surgery. So I had a bilateral mastectomy, I had a total hysterectomy, and all the things. And then I hit like this massive wall of burnout because my hospital system, where I had been for about 10 years, had gone productivity-based. So now I was practicing productivity-based end-of-life care. And the thing that was getting me through this whole time was learning about lifestyle medicine, the things that were in my control. And lifestyle medicine really became a passion, even though I loved palliative care, was really good at what I was doing. But the moral distress from the productivity-based system was just slowly killing me. And essentially, I started sharing things online because I was looking for a community of women who understood what I was going through and all of that. And so I naturally started sharing things about the food I was eating and other tips and tricks about lifestyle as medicine and mindset as medicine. And after shortly, like midway through 2020, one of my favorite brands reached out and they were like, oh, we would love to partner with you. And I had no idea where to start. This was kind of like the first time I ever thought that this was a thing. So I brought it to my husband, who's a doctor. He was like, I have no idea what to do with this, but it seems cool, just do it. And honestly, I jumped in. And then a couple of weeks later, I heard Amy on a podcast talking about all the questions that I had about this contract that this brand had sent me over. And so at that point, height of my burnout, I was like, okay, I want to grow. I want to learn something new. And I completely stepped outside my comfort zone and joined Amy's program. And 2 years later now, like, honestly, I feel like I've turned all of my pain into my purpose, because I have built an online readership of close to a billion people through my media work. I am now Amy's physician advisor, helping her help other healthcare professionals amplify their impact and, create a side income that allows them to not feel that burnout and moral distress that I was feeling. Mass media is key, because there was a lot of things that initial partnership that I had. A year later, after Mastered Media, I was able to go back to them because of the coaching and the pricing guide and everything that I had gotten in the course. I was able to renegotiate that original contract from $800 to $2,400 a month, going from like a page of deliverables down to one video. So for one video, which was taking me maybe 2 hours to make, they were paying me $2,400 a month. Because of Amy's network and her relationship, like what she just showed you on the previous slide, I was able to land media features in Time, Yahoo, HuffPost, and now I've developed relationships with those journalists. So it's like, it's important what you know, but who you know is more important. So because of being in the community, I was able to tap into her network and now create my own relationships with these people. I didn't tell Amy this, but I have a column. She knows I have a column for Everyday Health. And every year that I've been in Master the Media, I've actually been able to renegotiate the price for the column, for the monthly column, to be higher. And I just did that because of her coaching, which was awesome.
How much more?
So, I mean, it is Everyday Health, so they don't pay the best, but I was able to go up by $100 a month, which is still,
that's $1,200 a year.
It is. And considering where I started, and to like, now they're paying me $500 a month to write something that's going to take me maybe an hour, hour and a half. That's 5 hours of work in the hospital for me. So that's a huge win. I was able to build relationships with PR agents from the community. So I had done a focus group in my first 6 months for Hodo Tofu. They do the tofu for Chipotle. And the PR agent just kind of like saw my media kit, and she was like, oh, you would be also great for this opportunity. She connected me with a local olive oil company who has a cooking kitchen. And now we're talking about doing plant-based cooking workshops for them. So I'm doing things that honestly 2 years ago, I didn't think I would even be doing, because of the relationships I've made, but also just being in this community. Like Katie, inspired me to want to do cooking segments on my local news station. Like, that's something that she's been doing. And so I'm getting my whole broadcast stuff together. I'm getting ready to pitch this month for my first broadcast interview. So it's really cool to be around a community that inspires you to grow and step outside your comfort zone and do things that you never saw for yourself. So the beautiful thing is they set you up for success in the sense that, you get to tap into Amy's network, you get concierge type like opportunities to put your name in the hat for while you're doing the work to pitch, your own brands and opportunities that you want. But at the same time, like you get this beautiful kind of professional help, right? So like, I made an amazing media kit. I have an amazing media business card that I've used now at conferences and when I go out networking. I'm in the process of building out my new website and totally getting Amy's guidance and her help on building out my media section of that. And so it's just a beautiful community. Like, if you are interested in media and brand work, as you should be as a healthcare professional in the digital world of misinformation, it's the place you want to be. So Amy, I will keep talking forever if you want me to, but I know that Katie probably wants to talk too. So.
I should probably take it back. Yeah. And Katie's story is coming up in a few slides from now. I love hearing your story. I love your story of how you're making $800 for like 500,000 deliverables before Master the Media, and it literally tripled for what you said, one deliverable. So that's incredible.
Just for fun, I actually went back and took their list of deliverables and plugged in from the pricing guide that I have now, like how much that would have cost. And it was literally like $20,000 worth of deliverables. So, yeah.
That's it. Yeah, that is insane. But you guys, that pricing guide is part of the bonuses that we are giving when you enroll in Master the Media by tonight. So when you are a media featured healthcare professional, it just really, brands have all of this money and they want to spend it on marketing. And you literally are the person who can give them an endorsement that people will believe. And we all have stories about how we want to spend more time with our family. We want to have more money coming in to do all these fun things and all these necessary things like paying medical bills. And that is what Master the Media does. So we give the brand partnership opportunities to you. Like Simran was saying, we have a concierge service. So you don't have to go out and look for them. Can you? Absolutely. Literally in these 3 bonuses that you're getting when you enroll by tonight, you will get a list of 3,400 pieces of contact information for brands. So to show you how it works, so we bring opportunities to our students in our private Facebook community. Some examples are prevention, parents, Forbes, and literally every day, like I think there are like 5 or 6 opportunities in the last day alone. We're like, hey, he wants to be in Everyday Health. He wants to be in Time or Newsweek. And you don't have to, like, the beauty of all of this is you can start right away getting featured in these publications. And then what happens when you get featured in these publications, and you can literally, we want you to, of course, do the Master the Media coursework, but you can start doing this before you've even done that. And then the brands that align with the kinds of quotes you're giving in the media, those brands are going to want to work with you because you were featured in the media. So Haas Avocado Board, Naturepedic, Simple Mills. And literally it happens really fast. Like we had Stacy who joined Master the Media super recently, and she just shared today that she got her first media feature. So, and I've had brands tell me that they will literally only consider health professionals who have been Master the Media trained because they just don't have the patience to teach other people how to work with brands. So anyway, that is kind of a very quick overview of how it works. We also have this incredible media feature that we send out about every new health professional who joins Master the Media. And what happens is I have this gigantic list of brand contacts and media contacts. There's 7,300 people on that list. So you get 3,400 of those contacts in the bonuses that you get when you enroll in Master the Media tonight. And then we have additional contacts. We email them every week with our expert of the week. And so we had featured Jamie, who joined Master the Media last year. And this brand, Food for Life, saw her and was like, hey, I want to work with Jamie. And so that's, it's just, this really paints the picture of how easy it is for our Master the Media students to get results. So you might be thinking, if you've been trying to get brand partnership opportunities, that they don't fit into part-time hours, unless you have an extensive background like I do. And I will say most people don't know who to talk to and what to say and how to negotiate a contract so you don't get gypped. Just like Simran had that $800 contract and she turned it into that $2,400 contract. And the thing is, we give you all the tools to confidently negotiate and to pitch opportunities that really do truly fit into part-time hours. And that's what makes Master the Media fit into just a few hours a week. And I want to show you how. So, I mentioned that the bonuses that you can get when you enroll in Master the Media by tonight, you get enrollment to something called Brand Partnership School. And that includes a list for like every brand you could ever want to work with. And so Christy, what happened was she joined Master the Media literally in her first week. She was like, I want to work with Now Foods. She didn't have to wonder like, I wonder who the marketing person is. I don't know if it's this person or that person. I'm not even sure like what the proper title is. And she reached out to the person on our list. Her name's Alana, by the way, and she ended up getting a partnership within her very first week in Master the Media. And so this is something that we're doing every single day. We're connecting our students with brand partnership opportunities. And every one of you who are here tonight, you will be a fantastic fit for Master the Media. And these are literally just a handful of examples of the hundreds of brands that we've directly connected our Master the Media students with. IM8, for example, that's David Beckham's new brand. You could totally reach out to them or Impossible Foods on your own, but they don't know you and you don't necessarily have the right contact information to connect with them. And what happens is when you join Master the Media, we kind of vouch for you and you get to utilize our entire network, and the brands know that you're vetted by us. So the brands will take you more seriously. And we had, Laura actually just joined Master the Media. Welcome, Laura. And so she now has access to all of the contacts that we have for you to directly connect with. Also, what happens is we share these opportunities with brands for the brand partnerships in our private Facebook community. So we post it. This is an example, actually, literally a screenshot. This is Dr. Kara, and we posted this opportunity with Canopy. It's a humidifier company. And so she was one of probably just a few people who put their name in the hat for this opportunity. And what happens is we send every single person who puts their name in the hat, we send those names to the brand. And sometimes the brand hires multiple people. Sometimes they hire one person. Sometimes they keep those names as reference for when they want to hire more people in the future. But anyway, so Kara got a partnership with Canopy, and it was literally as easy as her putting her name in the hat, and we did the rest of the connecting and the rest of the work for her. And so if you're wondering what amounts of money you can make for what kind of time spent, let me just paint the picture for you. So a press release, a lot of times experts are quoted in press releases, and brands really like to have healthcare professionals, give endorsements for their products in a press release. It might take you 20 minutes or so to create a quote. And I think my internet is stable, so I'm going to turn my camera back on. So a press release might take you 20 minutes to give a quote for. You'll earn $5,000 for that because the value of your endorsement is so high. Same thing if you give a testimonial that's featured on a brand's website, that might take you 20 minutes. And that's also worth at least $5,000. It might even be $7,000 for that or the press release. You might create a social media post and it takes you 1 hour. That's literally at least a $3,500 payday. And I'm not talking about you get $3,500 if you have 100,000 followers. That's for a healthcare professional with 1,000 followers or even 600 followers. Katie, when she joined Master the Media, you had 600 followers, and you were probably making more than this for your social media post, right?
I was doing pretty well.
Yeah.
I was shocked that they wanted to work with me when I only had 600 followers. And then when they agreed to the pricing that you told me was industry standard, I was like, oh, okay.
And that's because you're getting paid for your value as a healthcare professional endorsing a brand's product, not just for the fact that you created a social media post. So, maybe someone who never went through Master the Media was charging $100 or $300 for that post, but we guide you on what the actual rates are. You might spend 3 hours creating a recipe for a brand, and that's at least a $2,500 payday. And same thing, you might spend 3 hours writing a blog post. That's at least $2,500. That could be as much as $4,000, $5,000, depending on how the brand's using the content and how long the article is. And so you're not just doing one of these things as a one-off, you're bundling them together. And this is the process we teach in Master the Media strategically every time you have a potential brand partnership, we guide you on, these are kind of the ideas of what we would suggest you bundle. This is how many different options you should give. And so in this example, say you did 2 press releases, 1 testimonial, 3 blog posts, and 5 social media posts, that equals $50,000. And so what happens is it's not just a one-off that you get $50,000 in 6 months. It's actually 8 months right now. When you enroll in Master the Media by tonight, you'll get those extra 2 months in Master the Media in addition to the other bonuses. But what happens is you'll earn that money again and again. And so in a few years, by the year 2030, you literally will have made a minimum of $500,000 in brand partnerships, which is $500,000, just a casual $500,000. And I mean, this is like truly the reality. So I'm going to let Katie share her story of how, she literally started with like, I think Katie, you told me like no media experience, no brand partnership experience. And I will let her share the really awesome amount of money she's made working with brands through Master the Media.
Thanks, Amy. Yeah, it's good to be here. So I am also a dietitian. And when I joined Master the Media 2.5 years ago, I did not have any media experience, didn't know anything about brand partnerships. I didn't even have a social media. Like I had I think 500 or 600 followers, but it was like friends and family. Like I was not doing like content. And you mentioned TV. I didn't have any TV experience. I have a private practice. And so I was doing that, working on growing it. And I made the decision. I was telling Amy this the other day, we did that podcast interview together. I made the decision to join Master the Media, honestly, more as like a business decision. I was like, okay, this seems like a good idea, diversify income, kind of break out of the one-to-one time with patients. I love the work that I do, but I think anyone who works with patients knows it's so exhausting. And I've seen so many other healthcare practitioners burn out so young. And I could really already start to feel that for myself of this is a lot for me, emotionally to take on, to see patients full time and to try to grow this. And I just knew it wasn't really sustainable. Plus, seeing patients all day, it's not very flexible, right? You have to be available in the mornings and in the evenings and according to certain work hours. And I just needed more flexibility. I tend to move around a lot. And so there was just kind of a lot of different parts and pieces here that I felt like something has to change because I know this isn't going to work. So I joined Master the Media and really dove in head first and was like, I'm gonna make this work. And followed the program and got my first brand partnership within 3 months. And it really snowballed in a really great way. I think I had, during my 6 months in the program, oh gosh, I should have looked this up, maybe 6 to 8 partnerships during that time, made close to 50K. I think I made 49,000 during that time. And actually ended up loving it in a way that makes it so much more sustainable for me. It's opened up a lot of doors for me actually in ways that I didn't anticipate. So definitely have been able to pull back on the number of patients I've seen. I've had a wait list for, I think I've been booked out 2 months in advance. I was able to lower my prices actually in my private practice to start accepting health insurance, which was really big for me. Obviously we need to make a living, but it sucks. It sucks to charge people a livable wage so that I feel like I can save and do all the things I need to do. And also make it feasible for other people. And so that actually allowed me to start accepting health insurance, which was amazing. And it sort of allowed me to take enough of a step back that I decided that I wanted to grow my private practice, which kind of feels counterintuitive because it's oh, if you're doing more work, if you're doing brand work, how can you take on more? But it freed up so much of my time, energy, and mental space. So I've expanded to a group practice now, and I've been accepted to a PhD program, and just all of these additional opportunities opened up that really wouldn't have been able to happen for me if I had stuck to the one-to-one patient care model. And in that way, my private practice is going to be able to help more people, because it's bigger. And now my husband and I can actually like talk about starting a family. Like there's just so many, we've moved multiple times since then. Like there's just been so many things that have happened that have like allowed life to sort of like open up a little bit more. And I feel like when I first joined the program, like all of my thoughts were on work 24/7. And I feel like I just have such a more like robust life outside of work now, that has been just really incredible. So, anyway, that's enough like about my personal life. What else can I share, Amy?
Well, Katie, when Katie says she has hobbies, like she does pottery, she runs more than anyone else I know. Like she literally does like has time to do everything now. And I like so far, I mean, the last number you gave me, and I think it's up to date, is that you had earned over $150,000 in brand partnerships.
Yeah, and I so have already signed a few contracts with brands for this year, and I'm talking with a few more about some really big partnerships that are so exciting. Like actually, one has already been signed, another contract we're kind of in the works, but like companies who are in Europe doing some really incredible things, and they're looking to break into the US market, and they want advising and consulting and like strategy. So some really big stuff. And then of course I've been able to do like social media and writing for a company's blogs, or testimonials, or research analysis and educational material creation. Gotten into TV, like you mentioned. I think last year I did from when the time I started to I hit the 1 year mark, I think I had done 15 TV segments, which was so cool and something I really enjoy, and have obviously gotten paid by some brands to do that. It's helped to grow my kind of name in private practice. And I just moved back to LA, so I'm really excited to get into the TV market here as well. A little bit bigger reach than where I was at before.
And I just want to go back to this slide, Katie, because I know you have a really cool story about like a media feature literally. Yeah. And this is just an example of like how a media feature led to some brand partnerships for Katie, but she can tell the story better.
Yeah. So I was doing these media interviews, which, is so much of a foundation of, getting your name out there and getting visibility. And, I've had patients reach out, oh, saw you in Time Magazine. Like, I'm interested to work with you. But in this instance, I did an interview with Better Homes and Garden about whole grains. And it was literally just like a roundup of a bunch of whole grains. And to be honest, I was a little bit irritated because the writer had asked me like so many questions, like way more than is typical. It was like 15 questions. I was like, this is going to take me like an hour to do instead of the usual 15 minutes. Like, I don't want to do it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it because people need to know about whole grains. So I do this interview with them and it gets published, and two different brands. Well, one is a commodity board for sorghum, and the other is a company that just makes teff. Like, they don't even make like teff products. They just like, their goal is to like raise awareness about teff. And both of them reached out to me separately, and they were like, hey, this interview is incredible. Like, we're so excited to hear you talking about these whole grains. Like, we'd love to work with you and like pay you to help continue to spread the message. And so I did TV segments, I did media interviews, I did a few different things for these folks. But that was one of those instances where like someone just sought me out, or a couple brands just sought me out. Of course, I've done like outreach for brands. I've gotten several really incredible partnerships, some of them which are still going through the Master of the Media opportunities, which Simran was talking about. And then also like another skill that I learned in the program was like how to just kind of like network and build relationships. So, there's been instances where I've gone to a conference, like struck up a conversation with brands there, and then those turn into $10, $20, $30, $40,000 partnerships. So, it's just sort of like, it's really snowballing for me, 2 years into this. And I've been really able to throttle the amount of time, like, when I first got going, it was like, I'm going hard into this. I'm going to like put so much time in it. And now like I'm in a really busy time with my private practice. I just hired 2 dietitians and we're going through a rebrand and like a new biller and like all these things. And I'm like, I don't have as much time. So I can like pull back on that. And that has been amazing from like a life balance perspective and also like an income perspective, to feel like I have control over like when and how I lean into that more.
I love that. And one of the shows that Katie is talking about is called Expo West. And it's coming up in March, I believe. And so what we actually do every time there's a big trade show like Expo, Fancy, we literally connect the brands with our experts, set up meetings for them. So like we're doing all of this honestly work to connect you because we just really want you to be successful and land these paid brand partnerships. So all that to say, the brand work itself, like the time you're going to spend doing that media interview or TV segment or quote in a press release or behind the scenes consulting, that isn't where the big time spent is going to be. So like that literally fits into part-time hours of, a few hours a week. But what can really, really be a big time spend is figuring out how to navigate those partnerships, how to pitch yourself, how to find the right contact, how to negotiate your worth, how to legally protect yourself. And that's where Master the Media comes in. And so we have so many resources for you. And what's really cool is you can start learning. We have a ton of educational materials, but you can start that. And you can also jump in 100% into getting these media interviews, landing these paid brand partnerships that we're directly connecting you to. And so just to like walk you super quickly through the educational content, we have modules in Master the Media on literally we go from niching and who you should be talking to online through all the different types of media, like talking online articles, podcasts, broadcast. And then we go through all the different ins and outs of being a spokesperson, how to price yourself, how to protect yourself legally. We have a contract that our attorney instructor made for you guys to actually use in these brand partnerships. But what happens is you're learning all of this, and then you're also enacting all of it. So you don't have to say, okay, I'm going to join Master the Media, go through all these modules. It's going to take me months and months and maybe even years before I can start making money. You can literally start making money like in a week if you start putting your name into the hat for those opportunities. And so in Master the Media, we have incredible instructors. You've met two of them tonight. Katie is one of our media coaches. Simran's our incredible physician advisor. And this is actually Melissa. She's not here tonight, but she's one of our amazing media coaches who also went through Master the Media. And so Melissa and Katie, they are leading those one-on-one foundation coaching calls, which are one of the bonuses that you get when you enroll in Master the Media by tonight. And so in those calls, like they will literally walk you through how to make $50,000 in the next, it's actually 8 months right now because you get an extra 2 months in the program. We have other really amazing subject matter experts. Alicia has her own TV show that she executive producers. Dan's an attorney. He guides you through all the legal stuff. Jonathan literally marketed 5 Super Bowls and 75 best-selling books. Nicole is the former editor-in-chief of All Recipes magazine. Ansley helps you make a media kit, and she also designed not only the Master the Media website, but also the website for the home edit. And so just to give you a glimpse of what it looks like to be in Master the Media. So we have live coaching calls 2 times a week. So we have advanced calls for talking through like how to price out brand partnerships. Sometimes, it's like, hey, Amy, in that list of 3,400 brands that you give in brand partnership school, which by the way, guys, is a bonus when you enroll by tonight, is Impossible Foods in there? And we can help guide you like, yes, it is, but if it's not, here's how to find their contact information, things like that. We also have foundation calls once a week where we go through more beginner type questions. And then we have a monthly coaching call for non-nutrition health professionals. So physicians and personal trainers, physical therapists. If you can't attend live, you can submit your question. We'll answer it. We timestamp it. And then we have daily coaching in our private Facebook community. So you can ask anything like after you have a conversation with a brand, you can be like, hey, can you give me feedback on my proposal and make sure I'm pricing this? And I will tell you, I almost always tell people to charge more when I give them feedback. And it's not because I'm feeling greedy for you. It's the fact that a lot of times, like the value that you're providing is so immense. And it's like you'll be doing a disservice by charging like $300 for something that you should be getting paid $3,000 for. And so it's really just a matter of that, that also gives the brand more value when you propose ways that you can support them really completely. And so we also give in each of the 12 modules, there's a practical exercise. So we have worksheets, but it's not like you're doing pointless homework. Like you are actually writing a pitch to a freelance outlet, writing a pitch to a TV station or a brand, and then we're going to give you feedback on it. And that feedback is literally through a one-on-one video that we make for you, that our instructors make for you, and then you send off your pitch. Same thing with like, we go through contracts, we give you feedback on that. And that is through a worksheet. You'll make a media kit through one of the module worksheets, and we give you feedback through a video platform called Loom. A lot of you guys probably use that. And then this is the educational content that you'll have lifetime access to. So a lot of our program is timed. Typically, you'll get 6 months of coaching and those concierge brand partnership services. Tonight, when you enroll by midnight tonight, it's 8 months in the program. But the educational content, you'll get all the updates to it in the future. Same thing with Brand Partnership School. We're giving that as a bonus when you enroll by midnight tonight, and you get any future updates we make to it. We update the list of brand contacts every single quarter, so you'll get lifetime access to that. And then we also have Master the Media certification. I know you guys love your certifications. And this is a seal that once you complete the program, you get to use it. It shouts to the world, Amy Gorin Media trained me. Brands really trust the Master the Media name, that you really, understand the ethics, understand the how-to support the brands that you work with. Then we also have optional in-person brand meet and greets, but I love to connect our healthcare experts with these brands. And so a lot of our students will attend these events that we host, and they end up working with, brands like USA Pulses and Country Life Vitamins and Oatly and Amy's Kitchen. So we're going to get to our questions in just a second. So you guys, please start putting those into the chat because I love answering questions. But I want you guys to join us. And I see that some of you already are. Welcome, Kayla. Welcome, Naomi. When you enroll by midnight tonight, you get 3 amazing bonuses. You can use this QR code to join us. So bonus number 1 is a $50,000 foundation planning session. It's a 1-to-1 session, which we never offer otherwise. So it's going to be either with our coach, Katie, or Melissa, and we will literally help, they will literally figure out at least 5 different ways for you to make $50,000 in the next 6 months from brand partnerships. You're also going to get an extra 2 months of Master the Media. So instead of the typical 6 months, your access will go through September when you enroll by midnight tonight. And what that means is you get 8 entire months of access to the brand partnership opportunities that we hand deliver to you, the media opportunities, the feedback on your pitches and proposals, and all of our coaching. And then bonus number 3 that you get when you enroll by midnight tonight is Brand Partnership School. So it contains contact information for 3,400 brands. We update that every quarter. We started with 1,000 brands. So it goes up probably by about 500 to 1,000 brands every single quarter. You're going to get rates for brand partnerships. You're going to get proposal examples and a whole bunch of templates and a whole bunch other really awesome things. If you guys are wondering what Master the Media costs, it's $13.97 a month for our 6-month payment plan. We also have other payment plans for as low as $383 a month. Sometimes people have a problem finding those on the website. So if you do, you can just send me a message and I'm happy to help you find those. And we're going to start answering questions now. So again, join us by tonight at midnight, get those 3 bonuses. I'm so excited to work with you guys. Welcome, Veronica. So excited to work with you. We had a few questions that were pre-submitted, so I'm going to have Katie and Simran help me answer those, and then we'll answer your guys' questions live. So here's a question about, I'm curious about rates for brand partnerships. Do you feel that Master the Media guided you through that? Katie, Simran, either one of you can jump in and help answer this.
Actually, Archie kind of asked a similar question in the chat. So I think for me, when I started Master the Media, I would have done a lot of the work that I'm doing now, getting paid for free, to be honest, as a doctor, because that's what we do. But the prices I had in mind And then when I came into the program and with Amy's coaching, but also the pricing guide, were way more than I actually ever imagined. Like I said, for me to write a blog post for Everyday Health and get paid $500, I thought that was amazing, because that's my hourly rate in the hospital was $108 an hour. So that's 5 hours in the hospital for something I could do in 2 hours. I just did a blog for a company, a nut company, and they paid me $3,500 to do. And that was like a 1 month pay at the hospital. So I think the prices, they're real. Like, brands out there will really pay us this amount of money because they're not paying influencers or paying experts with influence, right? They're paying for our expertise and our credentials that we come with. Having said all that, I definitely feel, for me personally, I don't know about for Katie, but as I built more confidence, I felt like I could easily charge the higher end of the range that Amy provided, versus like, when I first started, I kind of, like we all do, have that imposter syndrome. But as you build that confidence and you've done a couple of things under your belt, and you've done the proof of concept and all of that, then you can just go all out and charge the big prices that are shared in the pricing guide and what Amy tells us that we can. So that's my 2 cents.
And I'll add too, like the pricing guide is so helpful. But also, like, in the program, there's like real life feedback. So, and like, even when I joined a few years ago, like, you didn't have the pricing guide, and I was still like getting you were still guiding me on pricing. So the pricing guide is like such a great like cheat sheet. But then, like, whenever, and like, I even still do it sometimes. I'll like share my proposal with Amy and be like, am I missing anything here? But yeah, like, every time, you draft up a proposal, like, you share it in the Facebook group or bring it up on the call, and we can like go through it line by line, to really make sure, because it's a few things, right? It's like the pricing, it's like, is there anything additional in here that maybe you're missing, like, that you want to be sure to include up front so the brands are aware of it? Or like, if a brand has limited budget, like, how can you like maximize it and really show them everything you can give them? So like, a lot of different considerations that are so helpful beyond just having the data, like in front of you, the guidance, and then you just kind of like learn those things over time. And that's why I think like I love the group coaching in the Facebook group, because even if you don't have questions about pricing, like, you're sort of like being a sponge, and you can learn from everyone else too, because eventually, right, you'll get there, some brand's gonna ask you for that deliverable, and then you already like have context for it.
Oh, you guys answered that question perfectly. And this is actually a screenshot of the pricing guide that we give. And we have rates for media dietitians, and we have rates for physicians and nurse practitioners and physicians associates. This guide is part of Brand Partnership School, which is a free bonus when you enroll in Master the Media by tonight. So I think there's one or two more pre-submitted questions. How do you work with brands while maintaining your professional integrity, values, and ethics? I love this question, because honestly, I'd be really disappointed if you guys weren't thinking about this. Katie, I know you have an example that that kind of paints this picture really well. If you want to share it.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, like, high level speaking, I mean, I think this is so important, right? Like, as healthcare providers, obviously, like, our integrity is like truly everything in those ethics. So, there's a million there's just so many brands out there, right? And they're not all going to be a good fit. Like, I've definitely turned down partnerships before from like cold emails from brands, or, we've met at an event and I'm like, it's just not a great alignment, and that's okay. And so kind of like going into every partnership and like thinking about, like, one, is it a product that you would recommend? Two, do you align with their messaging, right? Like, the messaging is such a big component of that. And two, like, as you're going through it, like how is that interaction? I think, Amy, what you're talking about is I had a partnership with a brand who I actually really loved the people. I really loved working with them. They're a supplement company. They had really evidence-based ingredients, and they really wanted help with like messaging, and like getting healthcare practitioners on board to like vouch for this and speak to the research. And we worked together for about a year, and then at the year mark, we were going to do another year together, but they had some changes internally and they were ready to sign that contract. And I was like, you know what? Like the direction you guys are headed, like the way that you're speaking about the research, like it's not aligned. Like I don't feel like it really accurately represents what's happening here. And I'm happy to help you like navigate this and would love to like take on a bigger, like take that on or like help guide your team. And they were like, you know what? Like we actually want to go in the direction that we're going. And I was like, that's totally cool, but like I don't want to be a part of that. And I think I walked away from like a $20,000 extension on the partnership, which definitely could have been more after that. But for me, it was like such a no-brainer. And I wasn't even, strangely enough, I wasn't even like worried about it financially because it's like, all right, well, there's a million other brands out there and, there's alignment elsewhere. And what do you know? Of course, I got several new contracts instead. But I think that ethics component is really big. And Amy, I have to say, like, I really appreciated your support during that time because I was like, how do I even start this conversation with this brand about this like potential conflict here? And you were really helpful in terms of like language and like, and just kind of walking away from that. Like I'm proud of how I handled that. And I think all in all, it was like a really good experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think you handled that excellently, and I think it can be really scary. Like, I mean, okay, first of all, charging your worth can be scary, but also turning down and walking away from a partnership can be scary. I've walked away from hundreds of thousands of dollars in brand partnerships. Like for me, there's just certain ingredients like sugar alcohols I won't ever work with. They make me feel horrible. And so I can't in good consciousness be like, go eat this product that makes me feel horrible. But it just gives you more integrity and that makes you more authentic and that makes brands want to work with you even more. Simran, I feel like you had something to say maybe.
So when I started Master the Media, I was still working at the hospital. And so one of the first things, and, this was, as a physician, this was kind of a big topic that I talked through with Amy. And so and obviously, like I have two parts of me, right? There's like the lifestyle medicine physician, which is the side that's doing most of the media brand work. And then there's the palliative care piece. And that was my job at the hospital. And so I ended up having a conversation with my leadership team, explaining to them, and this was around the time where I was launching my business anyways. So explaining to them what I was doing with my kind of lifestyle medicine micro practice and my interest in media work and all of that. And we laid it out in an email. So it was very honest and transparent. And their answer essentially was, as long as it doesn't interfere with the work that you're doing in the hospital and that there's with these patients and there's no conflict of interest, then you're free to do what you want to do. And they were actually happy in a sense that I was doing media work because I was still working for them. And so anytime my name would be linked, it would be before I had like a media page, it would be linked to my hospital page. And so it's actually kind of bringing them more attention, which they loved. But I think a lot of times we think, especially as physicians, right? We're working in, unfortunately, in an environment, at least in the U.S., where medical litigation is a really big concern. And I'm married to a critical care physician, and it's something that we think about a lot and have had so many conversations about. And I think when you kind of step away and start working, say, for example, with a cashew company, like I did recently, right? The litigation there is virtually non-existent compared to working in the hospital with patients. And so that's kind of how I see it too. It's actually a much lower risk thing when you are working with like food brands or say fitness brands or other companies like that whose products that you love in this season of your life or say in a previous season of your life that you would recommend to your friends and family and clients anyways. It's just that now you get to be paid to do that. So that's kind of the other twist on it that I look at it from. Because I think medicine is getting harder and harder to practice for many different reasons. And that's one of them, the medical malpractice.
Yeah, I think those are excellent points. Also, I wanted to say welcome, Allison. Welcome, Naomi. You guys just enrolled in Master the Media and got your 3 bonuses that end tonight. Okay, so we have, you guys are asking a lot of good questions that I want to answer. So Kelly and Jessica were asking about coaching calls and live events. So our weekly coaching calls are, the advanced call is Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Calls are an hour, but I will say the last few calls I've gone like 15, 20 minutes over, just because sometimes there's really good questions. Sometimes we get into like heartfelt conversations that I just can't be like, bye guys, I'm leaving to go eat dinner. So myself and all of our coaches just like really enjoy the coaching process and helping keep the community thriving. The foundation calls, which are more of the beginner type questions, those are Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then we have the non-nutritional coaching call the second Friday of every month at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. And again, like, you can ask any question you want ahead of time. We'll answer the question in the call. We timestamp everything, so it's really easy to go back and listen to it. And then the live events, right now we have 2 a year. One is in October in conjunction with Fency. And we have a bunch of different brands that we connect you with live during that event. And the second one is at ACLM in November. And that is going to be also, we're going to get that sponsored by brands and connect you in person as well. And then Jenny was asking, how long will there be an option to join for $400 a month? Does that expire tonight? I'm actually going to fast forward I'm going to come back to this question. So I want to walk you guys through that pricing. It doesn't, this option isn't going away, but it's not, it's buried on the website. So I want to just show you where to find it. So, okay. So if you go to the Master the Media checkout page, click on Enroll Now, click on the painful option for $7,997, scroll down, click on Klarna, and then that is going to give you options for as low as $383 a month. So that's one way to get the low payment plan. The second way is going to be also, you click on the Pay in Full option, click on PayPal, click on Pay Later, and then that's going to open up different options. You can either pay in 4, pay monthly for $430. You can also click the split button to split your payment among multiple credit cards. So that's an option. And then also, if you want to pay in full, you get a really nice discount that saves you like $500. So just wanted to go through those. Let me go back to the last question, and then we have more of you guys' questions to answer. But I just wanted to kind of show you what it looks like for us to hand deliver those opportunities, because it happens all the time. So brands will come to us and say, hey, we want to hire 1 expert. We want to hire 10 experts. Impossible Foods was a brand who came to us and they literally hired 10 of our healthcare professionals. Simran and Katie were in that group. And so we had a mix of dietitians, physicians, PhDs, personal trainers. And what was really cool was that, like, literally brands come to us, we do the matchmaking, and then multiple of our students get those brand partnerships. And then also in Brand Partnership School, which is one of the bonuses that is ending, that you get when you enroll by tonight, we send this brand box of goodies from different brands. All of the brands that are in here, they want to work with healthcare professionals. And so IM8 was, it's David Beckham's new supplement company. And we had that in the brand box that we sent out last year. And they ended up hiring, like, I can't even count how many of our students. Here's Alyssa, here's Jackie. These are just a couple examples of Master the Media students who got partnerships through that brand box. So I am going to bring it back to the questions. And I love that you guys are asking so many. So Jessica, you have some questions about blogging. And please, you guys, feel free just to like turn your microphone on and ask your questions. So Jessica, I don't know if you feel comfortable just telling us what you're wondering. Or I can read your question.
Yeah, no, I can ask out loud. I should preface all this by like my dietitian job is very hobby-esque for me. We homeschool, and so I just enjoy writing because it helps me learn and teach in a different way that doesn't require like me to have specific set time. So it's not something I earn money with currently because I don't work enough on it. But as my youngest is 4 now, so I'm hoping with a little bit more time and not like blogging, it just seems like it's not the path to go on anymore. But media is obviously, I mean, I feel like the face is the thing that is selling, right? So I'm hopeful that that this would be an avenue that AI wouldn't take over. But I was just curious with you guys in the area or in the field of it, if what you've seen change with AI over the last 2 to 5 years or however long you feel like it's been.
I think it's kind of there's direct changes and there's indirect changes. So indirectly, what I've seen in media is, staffs have scaled back quite a bit because of probably, in large parts to AI. And so something cool is actually happening as a result. So articles that you're quoted in, they get republished, like literally, and articles that you write. So like there's this article that I wrote for Parents, the website, probably like 12 years ago about starting solids. Ironically, my baby is starting solids right now. I could read my own article, but they republish it every single year. And to the outside world, it looks like I literally wrote that article this year. And so what this means is your media work goes so much further than it used to, because like when brands see that you're constantly in the media and yes, like you should still be doing new interviews, but you have all of those old interviews. Like when I was on maternity leave, I didn't do a single media interview, and Google still said I did like 20 or 30 media interviews because things got republished. The other thing that's happening is I know blogging's changing, but the importance of online presence isn't changing. And so when you're quoted in an article, then you can link that back to either your webpage or your Instagram. And that can send, brand, like literally like Katie was quoted in Better Homes and Gardens, and those 2 green companies went to her website to check her out and they contacted her. And that's the beauty of this type of media work, is it kind of just like has a life of its own. I don't have a private practice anymore, but I have a wait list because maybe like Katie, I'll hire dietitians and they can see patients for me, but I have a completely full wait list because people see those articles. They either click on my website link in my credit line and it sends them back to my page. And I could potentially have those clients. And Katie, I know like your private practice has a huge wait list, right? Probably because of your media.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely doesn't hurt when people see you on TV or in an article, or even if they don't, like when they go to my website and they see like my As Seen In section, or if they click on my media page, like I think I've been featured in over 300. I mean, I think that's honestly probably an outdated number, like written interviews. So yeah, I think it all definitely helps.
And Simran, what are your kind of, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this as well.
I mean, like I said in the chat, I mean, I think AI can create content, but it doesn't carry the same weight as, our credentials and the trust and expertise that we bring with our voice. So I think the media is looking for experts to quote and not just content. Like they want the voice and not just the content, if that makes sense. And I think there's kind of like a full circle thing too, like Amy was talking about earlier. When you are featured in the media or you're blogging for your own website, when people are searching on ChatGPT or now the new Google, right? Or on Google, the more your name is out there, the more you're building your digital portfolio, the more it'll help your private practice, or the more traffic it'll bring to your website, or, so you're kind of building your authority online, that's your marketing, right? So if you're building your own brand, it's really important for you to have a digital presence. And the way to do that is to just keep putting out more content. But you could do that on your blog. But if you do it on, say, get your name in Eating Well or HuffPost or Yahoo, you're going to build much quicker. I just had a PR agent reach out to me, like a cold email, and she was like, "Oh, I saw you were in an editorial talking about the importance of vitamin C for immunity." And she actually represents these immunity shots that my husband's honestly addicted to. And so she was like, "I'd love to send you these." And I was like, great. So I didn't do anything. She found me through a piece that I just was quoted in, like, I think 6 months ago, to be honest. And so now she sent us the box. My husband was so happy. But also now I'm in conversations with her. So that's kind of how all of this works. Like, it's so much more than just content. It's kind of like what happened with Katie. It's like kind of full circle.
Yeah, and I think your point about AI is really good. That made me think of one of our students. She's bilingual, and so someone, I guess a brand, was Googling, like, who are the top bilingual dietitians in the US, and her name came up because she has all of those media mentions, and so she ended up getting a really cool brand opportunity because AI recognizes her as a top expert. Archie's asking, what is a satellite media tour? That's a great question. So this is actually a really cool deliverable to do for a brand. So it's when you're talking about, and it could be about any product, like a salad company, a bread, and you're doing a whole day of media interviews. So it's usually a combination of radio, TV, and these days some podcasts. And because you're literally doing them all day long, it's a huge payday. So like minimum of 12 or 13,000, like high end would be over $20,000 from one day of work. And so this is the beauty of, like, a lot of the healthcare professionals that we media train and master the media, like, they come to us and they're like, okay, so the only ways to work with brands are social media, blog posts, and that's it, right? And it's like, there's so many more opportunities, and we help you think outside of the box to pitch those opportunities to brands. So sometimes a brand wouldn't even know about satellite media tour, but you could be like, hey, this is a really great way for you to get in front of a bunch of consumers. And, then if you get that opportunity, it's a really big payday for you. And in Brand Partnership School, which is free when you enroll and by tonight, we give you a list of, like, all of these different ideas for ways that you can work with brands. So if you guys have more questions, we are happy to answer them. I know there's always, we do get a lot of questions about all the different ways you can work with brands. Katie, Simran, like, what are some of your more, like, outside of the box partnerships that you've done?
Oh, I have a good one. I worked with a company who it's like a milling company. So they produced grains, and they were helping to, so they had gotten a USDA funded grant to study, produce, and educate about a newer farming practice that helps to lower the arsenic in rice. And so they hired me as a part of that grant funded program. And I got to, it was so cool. I got to like read all this research about, I'm a total nerd, so I love this thing. So I'm like, oh, it's so fun. I got to like dig into PubMed. So I got to like read all this research about this really specific farming practice called alternate wet and drying. I still remember that. Alternate wet and drying farming practice that naturally reduces the arsenic uptake from the rice. And then I got to like interview the farmers, and all of this was to help them create messaging for consumers. So there were sort of two projects. There's one that was more consumer focused and one that was more healthcare practitioner focused about this particular farming method and company that's doing it, because there's not a lot of companies doing it. And it was so interesting because, you know, the balance was around like, yes, this is true, this farming practice lowers arsenic, but how do we also talk about that in a way that doesn't cause fear for people who maybe didn't know about arsenic, but we're speaking to the people who do know about it? And like, how do we kind of find that balance? And like talking to the farmers and reading the research and everything was so cool. And then translating that into, all right, you know, put on that like consumer education hat. All right, now talk to healthcare providers and help to disseminate that information.
I love that. That actually makes me think of, I also love digging into research. We're all really alike, right? And I once wrote like a 70 something page report for a brand on like, okay, here's all the different ways, because they had hired me to help them make their menu healthier, their restaurant. And I was like, okay, here's like all the research on why we should reduce added sugars, why we should reduce color, you know, different additives. And here's alternates that you could use, that you could substitute. And like, here's other companies that are doing it. And anyway, like, you know, I don't think they were expecting a huge report, but I got to present it to them as part of the partnership. And then we actually got to enact a lot of those changes, which was really cool to see the ripple effect of like, you know, your work impacting the health of other people.
Before I share mine, Katie, was there any specific brands that you figured that had the lowest arsenic for rice because of your research?
So the company I was working with is called Great River Milling, and they're one of the few doing
they
that.
make their own. Okay. They're green. They're the rice company.
Yeah, they're the rice company.
Okay. All right. So I am a partner with a brand. It is a snack container that my kids have been using since they were 18 months old. And so I kind of proposed the idea of creating an Eat the Rainbow guide for them, which they absolutely loved. And the guide came out so beautifully. Their community has been loving it. They now do pretty regular giveaways on Instagram, and you know how you do like different collaboration giveaways. And so they usually give away their snack spinners, but for me, they like, my giveaway is the guide. And so I'm just kind of automatically part of these collaborations that they handle. And it just like gives me a great boost in my Insta following every time that they do it. And we just did one in January, and I had a couple of brands that I became friendly with. And so they also partnered. So there was like 4 of us in there. And that led me to now having a conversation with one of those brands, because I kind of gave them an in-kind collaboration, which did amazing. So now we're kind of talking. But the snack spinner company just got approval or won the product of the year for the Target's like travel section for 2026. And so they're going to have like their whole setup at Targets nationwide. And so now we're talking about creating like a travel version of the Eat the Rainbow guide for that launch this summer. So I'm super excited about that. So that's going to be really fun, because I'm helping parents learn about what it means to eat the rainbow, but also helping kids. So it's impact, but also it's really helping me grow my platform at the same time. So it's cool.
Oh, but I mean, I love so many things about like, that's the coolest opportunity. I actually have a question for you guys. What is your favorite opportunity, brand partnership that Master the Media directly brought to you?
Oh, you know what I'm going to say.
I know, but I want to hear it.
Katie and I were both in the Impossible Foods focus group. I was hesitant to put my name in the hat just because it's not something that we eat regularly. So coming back to like, authenticity. But I was like, hey, let me just do it. I was very early on. I think this was like a month or two into the program. And so I put my name in the hat. I got selected. And in that I'd never been part of a focus group with a brand like this. So I actually just thought it was a cool opportunity. And so they were asking us all these questions about like, what kind of food messaging would you want to see or not see, or what do you think about our ingredients label? What would you want to see instead, or what's good, or what's that, so all this stuff. So of course we all kind of all agreed that the coconut oil really increased the saturated fat content, and we would love to see, a healthier unsaturated fat and whatever. So that like 1 hour focus group ended there. I was not selected to, be one of their partners. Some of the other students were, and so they created a partnership with them, which is totally fine.
But you did get paid.
I got paid for the focus group, but what I'm saying is I was actually fine with it because I like I said, it's not something that I eat regularly. So I don't know how I would have felt about being a partner for them. It might not have been fully authentic for me, but I know a lot of people that eat these products, and they're also products that I recommend to my clients as they're transitioning to try to eat more plant forward. So they're great alternatives. And so 8 months later, I was shopping in Whole Foods for burger night and came across the Impossible Foods section. And now it was like with like X% less like fat. And I was like, interesting. And I like pick it up, look at the ingredients label, and they swapped out the coconut oil for avocado oil. So I was like, that was a major win. And I was kind of part of that discussion. And this is impact, right? This is like real world impact. And so that I feel like I've had some really cool opportunities through mass media, but that one was like, from a lifestyle medicine perspective, like that was the one that like really made me happy.
I love that story. I'll never get tired of hearing you talk about that. Katie, how about you?
One of my favorite partnerships was, funny enough, had a lot to do with social media, which has just not really ever been my thing, or definitely wasn't that at the time. I'm trying to grow mine now, but at the time definitely wasn't. And they wanted to do ads. That was like a big part of their marketing strategy was TikTok ads and Meta ads, and really loved the product. And so we agreed on like filming content, but then having their team edit it, and they would run the ads. Cause I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I can't like edit these videos for like proper ads. And they're like, no. We want you to like talk about this from an evidence-based perspective and like in a way that consumers can understand. Cause like, it's not something that a lot of people know much about. And so they flew me out to Texas and like put me up for a couple nights. And we did a bunch of like in-person like filming and a photo shoot and like, all this stuff. And, it was so like fun to be like wined and dined. And they were like so happy to have me there. And like everyone at the office knew who I was and was like, they were so welcoming. And like they had this whole thing set up. And, I went home, they like sent me a little gift box, and we worked together for quite a long time. And, ended up doing more like at-home style videos and all of that. But I really liked the experience of like going out there and doing that in person. And they were like, like just like talk about whatever you want to talk about, like as it relates to liver health or this or that, and like foods that you would recommend in addition to. So that was a really fun project.
Oh, I love that. Well, you guys have been such a joy to hang out with tonight. And I'm so excited really to work with each and every one of you and to help you land to help you land your $500,000 in brand partnerships, because you'll start by getting 50,000 in the next 8 months, because you get those 2 extra months when you enroll by midnight tonight. And then you're going to get that over and over. And by the year 2030, it's going to be $500,000. So, and remember, you're also, when you enroll by midnight tonight, you're going to get that foundation call with either Katie or Melissa that we never do otherwise. And you're also going to get brand partnership school where you get all those rates, all those contact information for those over 3,000 brands that you can work with. So I am so excited to work with you guys, and have a great night. Bye.